Your birthday's getting close. Someone asks what you're doing. You say, nothing. It's just another day. And the room changes. Not dramatically, but enough to feel it. Your friend pauses. Your family gets concerned. Someone says, come on, you have to do something. As if skipping the cake means something is broken. But what if it doesn't? What if not caring about your birthday isn't sadness at all? What if your mind is doing something much more interesting? Psychologists have studied this exact kind of reaction, and what they found changes the whole question. People who don't care about their birthday are not one type of person. Some people learned not to expect anything. Some people have minds that place dates in the background. And some people reached a quieter conclusion. They do not need one marked day for their life to feel real. From the outside, all three look similar. No party, no countdown, no visible excitement. But inside, three very different things may be happening. Picture being 9 years old. You know the date by heart. You keep checking the clock. You imagine the cake. You imagine everyone remembering. Then the day comes. Someone forgets. Someone is distracted. The excitement feels smaller than it did in your head. Nothing terrible happens. That's the strange part. You just learn something quietly. Expecting too much hurts. Martin Seligman, psychologist at the University of Pennsylvania, showed this pattern in the 1960s through his work on learned helplessness. When a mind experiences the same disappointment repeatedly and cannot change the result, it may stop reaching. Not because it is weak, because it is trying to reduce the drop. A birthday can become that kind of emotional test. You expect people to remember. You expect the day to glow. You expect to feel chosen. Then reality arrives with ordinary lighting, and your mind adjusts. It lowers the prediction before the world can miss it. Wolfram Schultz, neuroscientist at the University of Cambridge, helped explain why. His research on dopamine and reward prediction showed that the brain cares deeply about the gap between what you expected and what actually happened. If you expect a reward and it arrives, your brain registers it. But if you expect one and it does not arrive, the fall can feel sharper than the absence itself. So, your mind learns. A very practical rule. Expect less. Fall less. That is why "it's just another day" can sound cold from outside. But inside, it may be a guardrail. It may be your mind standing between you and an old kind of letdown. If this is you, you may not hate birthdays. You may have learned to make the day smaller before it can make you feel small. But not everyone is protecting an old wound. Imagine this instead. Your birthday is tomorrow, and you remember it. Because your phone reminds you. You are thinking about work. A project is late. Your apartment is a mess. There are emails sitting there like tiny unpaid bills. The date does not feel emotional. It feels like one more item on a crowded mental screen. This kind of person is not secretly devastated. Their attention is simply committed somewhere else. Sabina Kastner, neuroscientist at Princeton University, studies how attention filters the world before we fully notice it. Her work shows that your brain does not treat every signal equally. It boosts what feels relevant. It dims what feels secondary. So if your mind is locked onto solving, building, working, planning, or getting through the week, a birthday may not disappear, it just loses brightness. The calendar says this day is special. Your nervous system says, not right now. That can confuse people who use birthdays as emotional landmarks. For them, the date carries meaning. For you, it may be like a notification you notice, understand, and swipe away. No drama, no hidden sadness, no deep rejection of your own life. Just a mind deciding what deserves foreground. If this is you, your birthday may not feel empty. It may simply feel less urgent than everything else your mind is carrying. Then, there is the third group. And this one bothers people more than they expect. You see the whole ritual, the cake photos, the group chat messages, the awkward restaurant song, the post that says, "So grateful for another year," And you don't feel bitter, you just don't feel hungry for any of it. Not because you are above it, not because celebration is silly, it simply does not carry the weight other people think it should. Edward Deci and Richard Ryan, psychologists at the University of Rochester, developed self-determination theory to explain what supports deep well-being. Their work points to autonomy, competence, and connection. In plain language, people feel steadier when they can choose, when they can grow, and when they feel connected in ways that feel real. A birthday can include all of that, but it does not guarantee it. 30 messages from people who barely know you may feel less meaningful than one normal Tuesday where you actually feel at home inside your own life. Philip Brickman, psychologist at Northwestern University, studied what later became known as the hedonic treadmill. The idea is simple. Emotional highs rise, then they fade. The next celebration, the next milestone, the next perfect day rarely keeps its glow for very long. Some people notice this early. They stop asking a single date to prove they matter. They do not need candles to mark their existence. They do not need attention to confirm they are here. And that can unsettle others, because it challenges a shared assumption, the assumption that everyone wants to be celebrated in the same way. If this is you, your birthday may not be an emotional absence. It may be evidence that your sense of value has moved inward. But here's the part that makes this complicated. Freedom and fear can wear the same face. From outside, both people say, "I don't care about my birthday." Inside, one person feels calm, the other person is bracing. Jennifer Crocker, psychologist at the University of Michigan, studied contingencies of self-worth. That means the places where your sense of value starts depending on an outcome. For some people, a birthday becomes one of those places. If people remember, maybe you matter. If they forget, maybe that confirms the thing you were afraid of. So the mind finds a safer strategy. Do not want it. Do not plan anything. Do not make the day visible. Then no one can fail you in a way that counts. This is why the difference matters. Healthy indifference feels spacious. If no one makes a big deal, you still feel like yourself. Protective indifference feels tight. You say you don't care, but you check your phone. You say it's just another day, but part of you is measuring who remembered first. You tell people not to do anything, then feel strangely hurt when they don't. That does not make you fake. It means the birthday is carrying a question you may not have named. Do I not need this? Or am I afraid to need it openly? Only you can tell the difference from inside. So if your birthday feels like nothing, that does not automatically mean one thing. It might be a guardrail. It might be focus. It might be freedom. And the honest question is simple. When the day arrives, do you feel peaceful? Or do you feel like you are pretending not to wait? There is no public answer that matters here, only the private one. Maybe we measure birthdays too loudly. Maybe caring about your life does not always look like making people gather. You're not cold for treating your birthday like any other day. You're trying to find where your worth lives when the room gets quiet. If you recognize yourself, write one word below: guardrail, focus, or freedom. And subscribe if you want more psychology of people, because the next video looks at why some people disappear when life starts to feel overwhelming.